I can't really see where I'm going. The platform is taking on water. It's a silky saw, 7.5. That's gonna make nice firewood. Steamed buns are a traditional Asian dish. All right, it's time to have lunch. Today we're gonna have a Thai dish called red curry stir fry with chicken. And now we can add some stuff. Lesson learned. I have a little surprise for you. Ni hao. I'm here again at a familiar spot in the northwestern corner of South Carolina. I finally got my boat or raft or craft or mess all built. It's been tested several times and I'm ready to go camping. I have the campsite reserved. It's about 43 degrees. It's kind of cold. I want to get this trip in before it gets too cold. So we're gonna take a boat ride about 15, 20, 25 minutes. I've never boated there before, so this will be my first time. And hopefully we won't capsize. Now this time I've made a few improvements. You can see that I put the mast in the middle and put a sail up. It was an old tablecloth that my wife had that she didn't want anymore. I also made a center board. So I got all my gear on it and we're ready to go. I'm not going to waste any time because we got to go and collect some firewood when we get to the campsite. Slow and steady. Should be a nice peaceful trip. It's a little bit tippy still, even with the center board, but I do have a lot of gear on here. I'm trying to make it over there to that island. The top of the life jacket is interfering with my Chinese hat, so I can't really see where I'm going. I see a shore over there, but I don't think that's where the campsite is. This is working out pretty well. The platform is taking on water. Would I make a boat like this again? I don't think so. But I think I really need a little more flotation. And don't really like relying on trash bags. I really have to be very careful about where I position myself. I have to be right in the center so that it's balanced. I want to get the tent set up. I need to collect firewood for the night because it's going to be really cold. It's going to be down in the lower 20s, like 23 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's below freezing. I think that's it right over there. It's really not a bad boat ride if you have a proper boat. I noticed that without the center board, it's a lot worse. It's not great with it, but it's a lot worse without it. All right, I better take the center board out. Okay. I don't see any designation, but I think this is Trailside 2. I'm feeling pretty cold, so I'm starting to shiver. The first thing I want to do is get out of these wet clothes. You might be thinking, well, everything in my backpack is wet. Well, not really. This hopefully is Looks like it's watertight. Everything inside is in this trash bag. The big knot. Let's see if we can get that out. I tied it so tight it won't loosen. I'm just gonna sacrifice this bag. I'm getting too cold. I feel a lot warmer now, and the sun's gonna be setting pretty soon, so let's go get us some firewood. Look at all this damage from the hurricane. That looks like perfect campfire wood to me. Nothing says nature like the sound of a leaf blower across the lake. That's like butter. Really dry there, so that's gonna make nice firewood. I think it's a hardwood of some sort. It's a silky saw, 7.5. I guess that's inches. And it's made in Japan. It has a great blade. It's the best saw I've ever used, actually. And it folds up like that very easily. Snaps right out. I haven't seen one better than this. And there's a link in my description if you're interested. Not sure if I'm going to start a fire tonight. After I set up the tent, I'd like to process some firewood, and so it's ready to go when I wake up in the frigid cold morning. I might just hit the sack early. The land kind of slopes down slightly this way, so I prefer to have my head higher and my feet lower. That's why I'm setting it up like this. Well, it's getting dark, and I'm just gonna heat up a water bottle, stick it in a sock, and put that in my sleeping bag. I set this on a couple logs, so it's pretty close to the grate. A lot of them are double walled, but this is single walled, and that means you can boil water in it. But you can't in the double walled ones, which are extra insulated, but this can keep you warm. You've probably seen these hand warmers. I've actually kind of collected them over the years, but I've never actually used one. So I think I'm gonna put one down by my feet. I don't know if you can put it in your socks. I'll have to read the instructions. I had a really good sleep. I even dreamed. It was pretty cold, but the little hand warmers, they actually worked very well. I wore double socks, and I put them in between. I put the hand warmers in between the socks in the toe area, and that kept my feet nice and warm, and that made all the difference. The water bottle, that lasted about 3 hours, and then it got cold, and it was starting to draw the heat from me, and I didn't really feel like getting up and reheating it every 3 hours, but I ended up putting my winter coat on because the sleeping bag isn't rated for this type of temperature. So anyway, it was a good sleep, and I'm ready to get up and get the fire going, have some breakfast. Hope I remember to bring it. And then we'll do a little bit of reading, a little bit of my Kung Fu exercises. Got the cotton ball soaked in Vaseline in there, trying to get a spark on it, and some feather sticks above it. There we go. I do have the steamed buns, and these are made from scratch. I made them myself. It's dough covering a red bean paste. I soaked the dry red beans overnight and rinsed them, brought them to a boil, took the water out. I tried one at home, it was really good. But how am I gonna steam that? The trick with this saw is you let the saw do the work, let the teeth do it. So I'm hardly applying any pressure at all. The thing is, I have to lift the steamed bun above the bottom so that the water will boil and cause the steam underneath it. And now I'm just gonna place these two, I guess, one on each side. And then I'll put the shelf on top of those. There, and now we'll just put that on the fire. I set a timer for 15 minutes, and as long as steam is coming out, that's telling me there's water still in there. Steamed buns are a traditional Asian dish. Sometimes it's filled with pork, sometimes chicken, and sometimes red beans. My wife and I, we used to host Chinese students, high school students, and we'd always go to the Asian market and buy frozen steamed buns. They just loved those. It was quick and easy to grab on their way out the door to go to school. Let's take a look. Oh, wow, it really expanded. Look at that. Dump it on the plate. Amen. The red bean paste adds enough sweetness. These black things are black sesame seeds. There. See the bean paste? I don't know if you heard it, but while I was doing my kung fu exercises down by the lake, I heard what sounded like, it sounded like someone threw a big rock into the lake. And that kind of startled me, but then I thought, well, maybe it was a meteorite and God is telling me, enough of this cultural appropriation stuff, Dave. Good stuff. You probably didn't know this, but I have a black belt. Here, I'll show you. See? The black belt. I was gonna warm these up. Good thing I thought of it, because they're rock solid frozen. I glimpsed over here at my boat, not thinking much of it, and then I noticed it seemed to be out further than it was. Yeah, it moved. It must have been one of those motorboats going by. Here's where it was. And there's where it is. You know, this reminds me of when I was about 12 years old. I was up at a cabin in New Brunswick, Canada, and we were camping with the family, and the cooler blew from the shore out into the middle of the river. And I had just stopped at a souvenir shop a couple days before, and I had this nice Canada Mountain Police knife in a leather sheath that I had on my belt, and I didn't want to get it wet. I thought it might rust. So the cooler went down the river, and someone had to get out of the outhouse and run because he saw the cooler floating down the river, and he went out and captured it. Ouch! Ouch! Ah! Ooh! Ah. Ooh. My feet are freezing. I just cut up some more firewood for making dinner and put up this tripod to try and dry out my clothes that I got wet this morning. All right, it's time to have lunch. And today we're gonna have a Thai dish called red curry stir fry with chicken. I got this recipe online and it looked pretty good. I'll put a link in the description. The star of the show is this red curry paste. Then we have coconut milk, brown sugar, olive oil, fish sauce, basil, cherry tomatoes, some red pepper, snap peas, and rice. First, let's get the rice ready. So I'm gonna rinse it, stick it in this pot here. Now that's a half a cup of rice, so I'm gonna put about a half a cup of water. So next I'll get the vegetables ready. Start with these snap peas. And all I'm basically gonna do is cut them like this, kind of diagonally. I don't know why. That's what she said to do in the video. She also said to take the this thing off. This, I guess it's chewy or something. Next I'll take these tomatoes and cut them in half. Next, a few red peppers. I could have used chili peppers or something spicy, but the curry paste is pretty spicy. So I'm just gonna, I think she said to julienne these. And I didn't bring a can opener, so put my foot on it. We're gonna have to open this the old-fashioned way. Just be careful of the sharp edges. Now I'll have to do the same with the coconut milk. It's safer to do this on the ground than on the table. Hope you can see that. I like having the blade face away from me. This coconut milk is pretty solidified because of the cold. I forgot to tell you that I also have chicken. Still a little frozen, so that makes it easier to cut. Next, I'm gonna put this chicken in a baggie, Ziploc bag, and then we'll get the fish sauce. We'll just let that marinate for a few minutes. It says to add 1 to 2 tablespoons vegetable oil, red curry paste, 2 to 3 tablespoons. This seems like about a tablespoon, so 1, 2 and a half. Medium heat, it says. I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking for here. It just looks like the oil and the paste. It's sizzling pretty well now. Time for the coconut milk, about a 1/4 cup, so. Whoops. And then it says to add the sugar so it'll dissolve. The recipe called for palm sugar, but we don't have any, and I didn't have time to go on a palm sugar hunt. It just says to keep stirring till the oil forms around the edges, and it looks like the oil was forming, and now it says to add the chicken. So now it says to add another 1/4 cup of coconut milk. I don't want to add too much because I don't have an exact measurement here. Maybe like that. And it says to cook this until the chicken is 80% done. I think the chicken's about 80% done now. I sliced through one of them. So let's add the snap peas, and not the tomatoes, but the red peppers. Save the tomatoes and the basil for last. I think we're about ready with the rice. You don't want it to burn. Yeah. This is looking pretty good, huh? It's just about done, so I'm going to add the tomatoes just to warm them. And now we'll add the basil. I don't know if I can eat all this. I guess traditionally you use white rice, but I'm using brown rice. It's better for you. Look at that. That's a perfectly cooked batch of rice. I've never cooked it that well before. And now we can add some stuff. Amen. All right, it's the moment of truth. What do you think? It's a very comforting feeling, and there's quite a bite to it. Spicy. Glad I didn't add chili peppers. Let's try a piece of chicken. Very tender. Extremely flavorful. I like the crunch of the snap peas. I haven't tried a tomato. Let me try one. It just bursts with flavor as you bite into it. I'm very pleased with this meal. Came out great. Have some sparkling water here. Oh, that is delicious. Try some chicken. This has come a long way since that pizza video. That's so good. Wow. It's restaurant quality. Well, I'm all packed up and ready to go. The fire is out. And I just have to make a few adjustments to the raft before I can push off. If I make it to the boat dock without capsizing, I have a little surprise for you. Here we go. Well, I gotta take this off. I can't see anything. There's a boat up ahead. Hope they don't start up. Oh, I have a whole welcome committee.
Yeah. I got my big brother and my little brother with me.
Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing?
You came out to see the spectacle?
I was telling them about you yesterday. And we hope you make it back. Well, there you are. Thank God.
It was cold last night.
No crap fell off. Did your feet ever get warm?
My feet?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have another pair of shoes.
Oh, okay.
And socks. These are just my boat shoes. Are you having fun?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Is good fishing out here?
I really don't know.
You don't know?
I haven't tried. Too busy doing more important things here.
Like that right there? That's what it's called, a pontoon raft.
Yeah.
Zip ties and PVC pipe.
Anything you can get at Lowe's. All right, y'all. Here's the surprise. I'm gonna attempt to use this sail. So I can control it with these ropes somewhat, but I haven't been sailing since I was about 12 years old. I went on a sunfish at a Boy Scout camp, I think. That's where I remember about the centerboard. So I didn't want to go camping this way because I haven't tried it yet. So let's give it a shot and see. Let's see. Yeah, I still have my paddle, so I don't have a way to take down the sail if I get into trouble. Like to hoist it up and bring it down. That's a little bit concerning. See if I can get one burst of wind to power the boat, and then I'll be happy. I'll be satisfied with the experiment. I didn't want to try it with all the camping gear. Too precarious. I think I'm just drifting. Although the sail is filled with wind, it might be helping a little. Well, let's not get out of hand here. Oh, that was fun. I didn't want to tempt my fate too much because I feel like I made it here with a backpack by the skin of my teeth, and this is pretty precarious. I don't know, maybe my wife is right. I should just throw it out. If I do attempt this again, I think I'm going to make a few adjustments, like I'm going to make a rudder for the back so I can steer it. Well, one thing I forgot to do while I was eating is to put on this Asian shirt called a barong. I'd like to collect some milk jugs, the ones with the screw-on tops, not the flip-off ones, so that I can put those underneath. But anyway, this was a really successful trip. I'm very pleased with it. Everything worked out great. The meal, staying warm in the cold temperature, the raft, and I could see myself taking day trips with this, you know, with the day pack, just going out on a picnic. So we'll see what happens. See if I can find room in the garage. I'm already thinking about what my next project will be. What other kind of camping contraption can I come up with?